I specify the quantity. We have a minimum required quantity written on the packet. It's not that if it is healthy, it's tasty, you finish off the whole jar in one. That is not the point. What is going into your body, there yoga comes into action, where you should be mindful of what is there in your plate. Even if people say it is vegan, just check, is it over processed or not. When I healed myself, I healed my mother, and I healed a lot of other relatives around us. 50 grams or 56 grams, and for a female 40 to 46 grams. Your body should not be exceeding that protein value in a day's diet. You know those farmers. I think that is really better if you know the farmers and that the product that you are getting, the ingredients that you are getting are organic. That we say it's an ethically sourced
Okay. So you have to know
product.
the whole supply chain. And
Yeah, it is better.
Okay.
It is always better that you know, because it is not a very big world, it's a small world, and when you are so passionate to make something, why not be introduced to the person who's making it. He feels so happy that he's involved in such big company.
Today we have Anju Khan with us, and we are honored to welcome Anju. And she's a lifestyle guide and a wellness coach, an entrepreneur. That's the role in which I have interacted with her more lately over the last few months. And she is the founder of health snacking startup called Bliss by Anju. Anju exemplifies the principles of sustainable living and is committed to promoting healthy, balanced lifestyles. She mentors individuals in improving their food habits and lifestyle choices and frequently conducts workshops on healthy and sustainable eating. In fact, I have attended one of her workshops, so I found it very interesting. And I think health is something which I'm personally passionate about. So I thought I would speak to you and learn more about what you're building and what motivates you. So that's
Sure.
the whole context.
Sure.
Before we start, I think maybe you can share a little bit about your own life journey before you plunge into entrepreneurship. Maybe how you grew up, and obviously food is something you can plug in into all parts of your life.
Yes. So, first of all, thank you so much. It's really exciting, and yes, my journey has been a lot of efforts to make it healthy. Has always been, one of the passions. Being, fed in a Punjabi family, the way I've been. I was always like obese, very, very fat, because we were fed a lot of ghee, homemade ghee, and we had that point that I remember we used to have a bhais ka doodh, the person used to come in cycle, and that time, we've had it all, and no wonder both my parents were highly diabetic. Blood pressure issues were there, and like few issues were there. We were just thinking it's because of the age that they are now 30 plus, 40 plus, and it's happening. I was in school and I have a younger brother, so it was like that, and not a very active lifestyle, no games and all. Being in a middle class family, it was always focus more studies, and some kind of goal. You have to do a job and you have to get married, and all that kind of thing was there, because both my parents were in government jobs. So I mean, all school to home, and then a lot of books, and then it just happened like that. And by the time I grew up and I got married and all, I developed a blood pressure issue with my first pregnancy, and that was it. The starting of my blood pressure journey. Almost now 30 years. I was on medical advices and hospitalization now and then. Severe migraine, and migraine used to happen from my school days. Never used to know why the migraine is happening, but whenever I was out in sun, I used to come back with throbbing headaches. So this happened, and I just took it as is, that your parents have the blood pressure, so I'm also having it. So it's not really very thing that I should not be having. वो खा रहे हैं दवाई मेरे को भी लग गई. So it was like that. So I had a very problematic pregnancy. My first child was in hospital, and I was also in hospital for almost 21 days. And it was very, very traumatic time for both of us, for my son also and for me also. But then everything was fine, and things were going on with medication, with migraine, everything was going on. Just that, and I've been always working professional, and I've done my master's in business economics, and I was with ASSOCHAM as a senior economist, and then I changed my job, went into Hotel Association as deputy director. It was building up, it was coming up. So a total of 18, 19 years of work, and then I started my own event company. I just left the job. So I was in events, I was to organize events and everything connected with the events as a whole kind of solutions I used to give. So always working, and medical thing was going on with it. Then all of a sudden, with my second pregnancy, I lost my child, and again the same problems came up. And then I thought, why is this happening? Why me? A lot of questions come, and so I was very big. I was about 80 kgs plus, and a lot of depression. And I just closed myself, and it just happened that, at one fine day, I just thought, this is not the end of the world, and I must go out. And I started walking and running at 5 o'clock in the morning. Thandi ka time, and I started running and walking so that I used to come back to my house by 6 o'clock, so that people don't see me and they ask me questions about kya hua, kya nahi. That kind of a thing was always there. I was not able to face people after my pregnancy, so I started my journey like that. I used to run and run and run, and then the life started changing. So it was always from sort of a health thing, exercise. And then while I was doing all that activity, I met a yoga person, and then I started yoga with him. Long time, it's been almost now 15 years of yoga. And the important thing which I want to point out here is that with my lifestyle, whether inactive or active, my blood pressure was not dropping. It was just the same. I was on medication then. After my improvement in my physical activities, it was still there. So, though I've been always a vegetarian, I used to take eggs every now and then because I was gymming, and a lot of protein, whey protein, and a lot of protein supplements were in my bag always. But again, this was happening. So, in 2018, I was giving yoga classes, and I had started to heal myself a little bit. I dropped my weight and all. I was looking better, and activity level was high. Just a casual question from one of the students in the class that, "Ma'am, aap khate kya ho?" All the time, 6 o'clock, you are running with the mat, or, giving classes here, there. Aap khate kya ho? And then that question made me really think that, people somewhere, they want to be having a healthy lifestyle, but they don't know really what to eat. Healthy khana hai, but kahan se milega aur kya khana hai, they don't know. So I started, making that breakfast which I used to carry with chia and with almond milk and all, with a lot of fresh fruits. That was the start of the Bliss by Anju journey. And I just simply made those, and I used to give away in the classes and all, and it just started selling from there. And from there it started, so the shelf life was very, very small for that product. But then by and by, it just gave me a lot of idea, because I was having whey protein. So why not chana? I started making chana laddus. I started making the besan laddus with edu ghee and with jaggery. So that was the first product that rolled out of this Anju, and which really did very well. And then, because I was more keen on the morning lifestyles and all, and eating when you are traveling and going out, so granolas and laddus were the first hit. So I started making granolas, something with oats. So for a longer shelf life. So it just started. The journey just started in 2018 with that.
Yeah.
And
So it's been now 6 years now.
It's been almost six and a half months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's been a long journey.
That's been long journey, but yeah. So the only thing is again that BP never dropped. BP dropped only when I started my plant-based whole food diet, where I left jaggery, where I left oils and ghee, everything. 2 years back, I stopped all my medications. Just 2 years back, though my lifestyle been always there, the product was always there. A healthy product, but we were using ghee and we were using jaggery. Some bit of dates also, but then so I realized a lot of things are there to help along with the food, which is where fasting comes into this thing, and more of information on leaving the milk and why dairy, and what are the myths about dairy and why it should not be having. That is more passion which has come up. That when I've healed myself, I've always felt that there is some kind of miracle that happened with me, because never ever I had ever thought that a person who's taking so much medication till 30 years at this life juncture, I'll be stopping all the medicines. This age, people start having medicines. उनको लगती हैं दवाइयाँ, यहाँ पे मेरी खत्म हो गई. And even for my family and my relations and all, they are 80 plus and they are off medications. I mean, it's such a magic, and I just want to talk more and more and tell people about it, that this is something which can be possible.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on medication all your life.
So this is the latest phase in your life, right? Of medication.
Yes.
So there were like multiple phases.
Right.
Obviously, you went through different, difficult emotional period, and then you started healing, and then you were still on medication.
Yeah.
You were eating already, mindfully eating and exercising, but you were still on medication.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I am 37 now, and I would say my journey was in 3 phases for healthy living and healthy eating. So I would say I graduated around 2009, and before that I was in US for about 5 years. Did not do that much physical activity, and I was young, so body could handle it. 10 to 13, I think the same thing continued, because those were my initial years of my career, and more like working into like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then waking up and going to office. I think 2013 when I started physical activity, so running, jogging, although the sleeping and eating was still like in disarray, random, whatever I can get my hands on as per convenience. So 13 till about 2020 was that phase where there was physical activity, but I was not watching what I'm eating and where I'm eating and how much am I eating. Whatever time I'm hungry, I just eat it.
Yeah.
And in 2020, just before the lockdown happened, 3 days before that, I dislocated my left knee at in my house, because I was using a very thin yoga mat. And then my left knee slipped, and then it sort of dislocated, and I put it back in place. Like the most painful thing ever. Nobody should dislocate any joint. So I think like it's more painful than getting shot. I can imagine. I know it's really painful.
But you don't know the pain of pregnancy.
Yes, obviously. Obviously. And
yes, for men, yes, it should be painful. I can understand.
So after that, it took me about, I used to live on 3rd floor at that time, and the house did not have any lift. So it took me about 9 months to come down to ground floor. Yeah, for 3 months, I was just, there was a support, and the knee was straight. There was no bending. So the whole movement was lost. So then I started the movement. So the knee has, I think, 135-degree range.
Yeah.
approximately.
Okay.
So mine was just like 180, like straight line,
Ah.
and then I started slowly moving it, and then loading, and then doing, and then I could get down to.
And you got it
around-
all by yourself?
by myself, and then I had 2 weeks I did physio with
Achha.
one physio from Indian Spinal Hospital, which is
You
in
could get him
Vasankoch.
during COVID?
This was
Before
between phase 1 and phase 2.
Achha.
There were some services which were like
COVID?
allowed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when I think I had a lot of time to introspect about health,
Right.
body, longevity, quality of life versus how many years you live, and started. Then I met probably like 6 orthopedic surgeons at that time. So 3 recommended you should get surgery. And then I met one surgeon who said, unless you want to play a soccer match tomorrow, you should not
Going for surgery.
Yeah, you should try to first start walking long distance, then start loading your joint, and then do some more strength training, and then see how can you compensate for one ligament with other muscles and other ligaments in your knee, because knee is a very complex joint, and knee and back are both are very complex. And that's when I started more reflecting on what I'm eating, and I had a lot of alone time because I was there's COVID phase 1, and basically you are on the bed for 4 months and you're reflecting.
Yes.
And that's when I became more conscious about what I'm eating and what I'm putting inside my body. And then physical activity was always there. Right? So that was I think my sort of the latest phase which started in 2020. And then there was another phase which started in 2023. I think I gave up a lot of, let's say, French fries, gave up processed sugar, not because I still take sugar, natural sugar and fruits, etc. But I stopped taking coffee, other kind of stimulants, and that's like the latest phase. But health has been one of the subjects which I'm like always passionate about, learning about. So that's why I think it's also a personal topic. When I met you first, I like instantly connected. I'm like, I'm going to work with Anju no matter what, because I think this is like one of the topics which India should learn.
Yes, and I think when you talk about phases, I think almost similar. The time has been almost similar during COVID. Only I started reading more about it. COVID gave us, okay, I know it was a very troublesome phase for everyone. It was a very depressing phase for everyone, but it was a phase for a lot of learning for me.
Right.
Lot of creativity for me. It gave me a lot of time, to learn about myself. And that point of time, read more, got deep into the whole food philosophy.
Yes.
And the same way as you are saying, I mean, I like me, I think there are a lot of people who say that, I was eating healthy. I was not eating egg yolk. I was throwing yolk. I was just making omelette of egg white, which is healthy. Used to think like that. Milk, A2 milk, healthy.
Yeah.
And anything with the paneer and curd and all of this thing, healthy. Ghar ka hai, bahar ke nahi kha rahe, to healthy.
Yeah.
So that was the impression of health. That was the impression. Weights kar rahe hain, so the whey proteins are healthy. We have to have proteins because I have to give, whey, pick up healthy, big weights. So that was the. And still, when I talk to people, still that kind of same perception persists that this is what is health.
Right.
Ghar ka kha rahe hain, hum to acha kha rahe hain. But again, really pains me to hear that Delhi and India is, the diabetic capital of the world, where diabetes can be healed in just 3 weeks' time. It can be healed. People are really not aware of it, and it is. I mean, all the lifestyle ailments are basically ailments because of the lifestyle.
Right.
So when you correct your lifestyle, the ailments naturally will go. But people are not told that by anyone. They are just fed on medicines because somewhere I think people in some profession know that their lifestyle will be the same,
Right.
So feed them with medication, because the pharma industry and the dairy industry, they're all very powerful industries. The industry which is not really very powerful is the किसान वाली industry, which is the farmer. वो जो उगा रहा है उसका ज़्यादा वो है नहीं, वो कहीं कह नहीं सकता कि मेरी सब्जी खाने से you'll be healed.
Right.
That voice is nowhere. Once that becomes strong and the farmer comes up and says that you eat a lot of leaves, you eat a lot of palak and all, and you don't need medicine, that day I'm just looking forward to.
So diabetes is an interesting thing you mentioned.
Yeah.
So last year, we spent about 9 months studying the healthcare and wellness sector in India. We started somewhere around January, end of January, and then we spent time till last month. So we started from the very top level, which is healthcare, and within healthcare there are established hospital chains and other providers from the provider side, and then we also delved into the wellness space, right? Alternative therapies. So just reading out some numbers from Indian Council of Medical Research. They gave some projections for 2023 about non-communicable diseases, NCDs. In 2023, there were about 100 million diabetic people in India, projected as per ICMR. 136 million pre-diabetic. Roughly 351 million people have abdominal obesity, which is your waist to hip ratio. 315 million have hypertension. So these are some of the NCDs. Now, obviously, most of the people will have 2 or 3 at the same time, right? So that's why this number looks so big. And if you look at the deaths from 2008 to 2030, the number of deaths is expected to jump from 4 million to 12 million, attributed to NCD. Within NCDs, and this is where I think the topics you're talking about become super relevant, they also give the risks which lead to these NCDs. So there are different risks they list down. So let's say air pollution is a risk, dietary risk is one, tobacco use, high LDL cholesterol, alcohol use, and high fasting plasma glucose, right? Dietary is ranked as number 3, the top 3 risks. And within dietary, low fruits and low whole grains are the top 2 factors which increase your dietary risk. Meaning if you eat low fruits, or if you eat, let's say, low whole grains, low legumes, high sodium, you have low nuts and seeds, you have high trans fatty acids, low vegetables, low fibers. These things increase your dietary risk, and you are more likely to have NCDs, right? And I think most of the NCDs, as we got deeper into it, it's a huge industry now in India, right? Because like you said, people are, once they are on blood thinner, they are on blood thinner, like they don't get off, right? And second, if you're regulating your blood pressure, if you are taking any other medicine to manage your NCD without addressing the dietary risk, meaning how you change your eating habits, or if you don't focus on physical activity, or if you don't change your lifestyle, meaning if you are sitting for long hours without uninterrupted sort of activity or same posture, that also leads to that. So I think this is where I thought, entrepreneurs like you who are talking about health snacking, right? And that's part of, obviously, dietary risk. That becomes very important. So till about 6 months ago, I did not know that NCD problem is so big in India. And India is now being called as diabetic capital of the world. And that's a huge risk, right? Because on one hand, when we, from business community, when we talk about building India, we always claim that we have the demographic dividend. That means we have the lowest average age, youngest population. Europe, Japan, America, all are on the decline, and we are the sort of, if China is the factory of the world, we are the office of the world.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we have the knowledge workers and all those things. But with these factors, right, this really impacts that productivity as well.
Yes.
So I think it's worrying, and I don't know why people don't talk about it often, especially now. So that amazes me, that why don't people talk about it? And these numbers are like really
mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling, right?
They are mind-boggling, and I mean, I would just like to add that people, so diabetes, yes, if you have diabetes, or any of the pre-diabetic conditions. So when you are pre-diabetic condition, you are as good as having diabetes yourself, because that day will not be long where you will have diabetes. So people are happy we are pre-diabetic. We are not having medicines, but they are on that range of sugars that is leading to diabetes. So if you have diabetes, or if anyone has diabetes, they do not need any other ailment or any other disease. It is a magnet of all the ailments. One diabetes and it will pull your blood pressure, it will pull your heart ailments, it will pull your osteoporosis, it will pull everything, will come slowly. So one diabetes, it is so khatanak, and it is so it's a menace. People don't really take it seriously, but if you have diabetes, then you are inviting all the ailments to your body. And one more, important thing which I thought about it, that your body is your real estate. It is a real estate where you are living, and real estate prices are going up everywhere.
Yeah.
But this price is going down. People are really not really understanding the importance of this real estate. Decorating and going out and investing in such big properties and not investing in yourself. So if you invest in a good property, why don't you spend money on yourself? That way you are not, because somewhere, we lack the awareness. Somewhere we lack the community living, where if I am healthy and I am happy and active, it is infectious.
Yeah.
You would like to do that. So for that, there are very few people talking about it. And more of them, I have seen, there's some kind of, selfish behavior. कि हम तो ठीक हो गए हैं, हमने नहीं बताएंगे हम ऐसे क्यों हैं. वो अगला बीमार से मर रहा है तो मरे, बट मैंने अपना लाइफस्टाइल ठीक कर लिया and I am happy, and why should I keep on tom-tomming about it?
That's true.
So talk and build a community around you which is healthy and happy, because I don't want, if I am here and I have my friends around, I would like to be with them for the longest period of time. I would not really like that, if I am healthy and they're not well and they go and then I am left alone. I want to be in a group of people as old friends are. So why not keep talking about it till the time, there is some bell ringing in somebody's mind. You never know the time. That same thing happened with me also. I started reading, though that kind of awareness was there. There was this very popular thing, Whole Foods was not, heard about, but veganism was coming up that time. I was knowing vegan people are there and vegan people are like that and this and that, and there is a lot of negative things built up around veganism. And I was thinking, मैंने तो नहीं छोड़ना है, मैं दही नहीं छोड़ सकती, मैं घर का पनीर नहीं छोड़ सकती, मैं तो vegan नहीं बनूंगी. But it is magic when you leave all these things and they have their own effects on your body, and it was so magical. You feel so light, because milk and dairy are acid. They build up acidosis in your body, which ultimately bleaches calcium out of your body. And people say दूध पीने से नहीं पी रहे तो आपका कैल्शियम कहाँ से आएगा? कैल्शियम घट रहा है पीने से. That people are not aware about it. So that is really a myth which has been built up by dairy industry, and all these industries are very powerful industries. It's just that unless you go deep into it and be with that company, you will be able to heal better.
Yeah, I think people know what they need to do to stay healthy. It's just that I think we have discussed this in the past. The feedback loop is very poor and very long.
Yeah.
you can keep eating bad for a long time, and then your body can sustain. Then one day it just shuts down that organ or whatever, right? So I think people know. It's like people when they are eating sugary food or fried food, or if they're smoking or drinking, they know it's not good for
Absolutely. कल तो नहीं कुछ हो रहा ना.
Right.
मैं तो उठ जाऊंगा सुबह ठीक से.
Yeah.
आज खा लो आइसक्रीम, आज खा लो गुलाब जामुन, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
Instead, the feedback loop is very long.
It is.
For something, let's say if you touch something hot, you immediately know that you are not supposed to touch it because it will hurt you. Right? But for eating, I think because the instant gratification is too much.
Instant reaction is not there of that.
Yeah. The feedback is not there. So that's why I think people generally delay that. And but talk about after your wellness journey started. Then your students asked you, obviously, what do you eat, and that's the moment which led you to start Bliss by Anju. What is the current offerings which Bliss by Anju has? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we came to be known as a healthy snacking company. And in the healthy snacking, we have 3 to 4 variants to the company. As I come, I love creativity. I love creating, and as I start knowing more about a product, I become very passionate to create that product and give to people. So we have 3-4 variants in the company. So there is a section which is a vegetarian snack. I say vegetarian because in that we use ghee and we use some bit of jaggery into the product as a sweetener. The Bliss by Anju, when I say healthy is that there is no refined of any kind. There is no white usage of any kind of product, no white sugars, no white flours, and no refined oils also. So that way it is all using a whole grain as whole it is. So vegetarian uses ghee, and there is another one which is a whole food segment. Whole food segment, there is no ghee in the snack, there is no oil in the snack, there is no jaggery in the snack. There is just the dates and nuts.
Okay.
So even the cookies are made with the grains, which is the chana grain, and it is a section of it is whole foods where it is made with dates.
Right.
And so that is what it is. Then there is a section which is a vegan product. When we say vegan product, we are using oil in that. So the oil which we are using is either cold pressed mustard oil or cold pressed sesame oil. So those oils are there. So we have a vegetarian, we have a vegan section, and we have a whole food section.
Okay.
In the product line. And when we say you are off ailments, like I am off any kind of medicine and I am off any kind of ailment, I can use 2 spoons of ghee a day. I can use 2 spoons of sugars a day. So ghee and sugars, while you're growing up as a kid, it is not really so bad if you are doing a lot of physical activity in the body. If that kind of metabolic growth rate is there, they are not bad. So ghee is okay for me if I want to maintain this same lifestyle. And so we use ghee for a section of people who are school going kids and all. And though it totally depends on your personal choices, we have same vegan choice cookies also. And the whole food only started when I lost my father recently. That point of time, I was not even knowing that what I was feeding him is killing him. So much of proteins I was giving to him, so much of sugars I was giving to him, and milk I was giving to him. And when I healed myself, I healed my mother, and I healed a lot of other relatives around us. So this snacking started as when my father went. So because that old age people, when I am throwing a party, we are all eating some specific kind of food. But he being diabetic, my mother being diabetic, and if our elderly parents are staying with us, then they are eating the same snack. So why not have snacking as a healthy alternate, and let everyone, because it's only healthy is, I think, number 2. 1, thing is tasty.
Yes.
The snacking has to be really tasty, and the better part is it is healthy also.
Yes.
So that made me really thinking that whenever I went to the market, I could not really find for myself anything healthy and tasty. Simply, I used to get packets, and when I used to just open the packet and munch on that, and then packet went to my maids or my staff, कि तुम खत्म कर लो, because अब मेरे से नहीं खाया जाएगा. I didn't like the taste of it. So that was very primarily drilled in my mind that whatever I'm making has to be really healthy and really, really top of the line tasty food.
And what were you snacking on?
I was snacking on, wherever I used to get any kind of mixture snacks, or some kind of puffed millet, or the cookies, or those bars which I get from the gyms and all. I used to get those protein bars.
Okay.
I could not find much of taste to it, and whatever cookie packet I was bringing it used to be just like that. I just used to open the packet, have one, and then I never used to finish the packet. So that made me really thinking that there should be a product which people would like to want another one.
Yeah.
Not just stop on that half and just donate that packet somewhere else, because it is food wastage is really very, very serious, and I really don't mind, like myself, to waste a little bit of food also.
Yeah.
So that was in my mind, that whatever people open the packet, they should be eating it whole. And then when I sell, I specify the quantity. We have a minimum required quantity written on the packet. It's not that if it is healthy, it's tasty, you finish off the whole jar in one. That is not the point. So you have to have a control. That is why, the education comes in as a part where I want to talk to people that, even whatever I am serving you, don't eat as a whole bottle because it is healthy or it is from Bliss by Anju and you are having it whole. You should not be having that whole. We have a minimum quantity written that you should be having that kind of quantity. Cookie, have 1 or 2 cookie in a day. Do not cook, have 20 cookies also, even if it is from Jaggery. It will do you harm. So that kind of education with the product is very, very essential. That should go into while you are eating. That kind of knowledge has to be given.
But it ties well into our cultural, Patanjali Yoga Sutra also, right? Talks about yam, asan, ahar. Pratyahar is like letting go.
Yes, your principles of yoga.
Yeah. So that also. And actually, people think that only asan is yoga, right? Which is very wrong. Because doing asan is just probably, I would say, one of the components, but there are many layers to it, right?
Yeah, yoga philosophy is really very deep, and yoga means actually not performing anything. It's more connecting. It's more, yoga means joining, a union. The meaning of yoga is union.
Yeah.
So union is of your outside and your inside. If you are in union, if you know what you are breathing, how much you are breathing, and you are in proper senses of a situation, you are in yoga with yourself. It's not that you are sitting here and you're thinking something else, and your mind is somewhere else, and you're sitting and you're doing something. Then that union has to be really important, of yourself with the universe, of yourself with your inner self. Everything has to be together. Even if you are sitting and then you're just sitting in the dhyan and all, and if you're understanding yourself, what you are doing, each part of the body is doing, you are in yoga with yourself.
Yeah. And I always found interesting that you built an experience center, as you call it. What was the thought process behind it, and why do you think it was
very
important?
Good question. Yes, very good question.
It was to build it.
Yes, so that is the first one of its kind, I think, in whole of Delhi. And I don't know whether outside also there is. I don't know whether it is like that, a whole food experience center. So that came up basically when I changed my lifestyle to whole foods.
Yeah.
And when I reversed and I became off medication, I used to talk about it. And when for example, I'm talking to you that I heal myself, changing my diet to whole food.
Right.
Your first question will be, okay, so that you mean vegan? So that was the question which was coming up from everyone. That, acha, अच्छा आप vegan बोल रहे हो, आप vegan हो गए हो. So then I used to say नहीं मैं vegan नहीं हूँ, ये whole foods है. If you are munching on potato chips and a Coke, you are vegan.
Right.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm not vegan. This is a whole food nutrition. This is a philosophy which is totally different, which is of no oil. You
Right.
have to be no oil. You have to be no ghee. You have to be no highly processed foods. You have to be no chemical driven foods. So that is what a whole food philosophy is. And to tell people, I used to call them to cafes, either my house. If I'm calling them to my house, then I am making a no oil food for them. That was okay. But how much ever I can call my, any, stranger to my house. So I used to meet them outside and I used to feed them the same food that they are eating from outside, maybe in any of the cafes or any of the restaurants. And talking about whole food while we are munching on some snack which is laden with a lot of oils and a lot of ghee. So then I thought, we should have a place. And I think it just happened. It was somewhere in the universe that I had asked for. I got a space. Yes, I got a space. And I said, why not make it sort of a lounge and where people are comfortable, talking about what the whole food diet is. And while I'm talking about the whole food diet, I'm serving them the whole food diet. And they know, they eat, and they know how tasty it is. It is not a medicine that you're eating.
Right.
It is so tasty, you would like to have more of salads. You would like to have more of, food that I'm serving it there.
Yeah.
And which will not even spike up a bit of your sugars, because sugars, again, coming back to diabetes, if your sugars are gelled in a lot of fiber, it will not spike up at all.
Yeah.
It will take a lot
and
of time.
whenever we come to your experience center, it's just the smell is totally different, right? Because I think you're experimenting on a lot of things in your experience center. And,
so it's an experience center plus our factory where we make snacks. So freshly baked cookie snacks and all. That's there.
And maybe you can. This is a good point to segue into the habit of snacking, right? And I think this is one of those things which has evolved over the last few decades. That this has become more or less, our daily routine. I was recently reading somewhere, right? Humans are so good at bringing patterns into their own lives. The way we wake up, we go, drive, get to work, go home, do other things. So we are really built for that. We really like getting into patterns, and anything which doesn't fit into any pattern makes us very anxious and chaos, and it throws off it irritates us. Why is this not happening this way? Similarly, I think snacking is also one of the patterns, which is like a food habit, which is now a permanent fixture in our life. If we are in office, we are snacking, you have a vending machine, or you have free snacks available in your office. If you are visiting someone's house, they will offer you tea and some snacks. Even if you are at home, watching TV, or you're just chit-chatting with your family members, you're still munching on something, maybe a couple of hours after you had it. Right? So talk about this habit. I'm not sure if it is like, I don't snack a lot. I would say I don't eat anything between meals. Maybe sometimes I eat fruits, but I observe that it's an important habit, an important pattern, which in modern day and time we have picked up, and it's here to stay. It's not going away. So first of all, I want you to respond to whether it's a good or a bad thing that we have this as part of our daily pattern.
Okay. So snacking, yes. If you are, in the vicinity of your own comfort zone, like your home, and I'm talking about all the ladies who are homemakers, who are not venturing out that much. For them, snacking may not be that much important, because I would, for them, lay more importance on the whole foods. If you are having a good food, which is a whole food, which is so much of fiber, you really, frankly speaking, don't get hungry in between your meal times also. And then we talk about the windows, shrinking of the windows of your eating, how you have to finish off your meals between certain time period. That gives you a little shorter time to snack or munch on any other thing. And having said that, I will come to people who are going to offices, who are mostly out, who are travelers, who spend a lot of an hour or so in traffic. They must keep some kind of nuts and seeds that we make. We make a lot of very tasty trail mixes and all, which are easy to munch.
Right.
And if you are there, stuck up in a traffic jam, don't buy a Uncle Chips packet from around. Have these kind of snacking in your car stacked up, cookies stacked up, which is a whole food cookie, and again with the either dates or it is with nuts. So something healthy, because you are bound to snack that point of time when you are bored, when you don't have anything else, especially when you are waiting and in these traffic jams and all, you're waiting, nothing else to do. You feel like, you keep stack up a lot of Uncle Chips and a lot of over processed foods and over processed things to eat like that. So that is the best option when you buy our bottles and you buy whatever we say, it's munch on those. At least that is not giving you any kind of bad effect, that is not spiking up your sugar levels, and that will give you sort of energy also, and makes you, small amount will make you full for a longer time. Uncle Chips, 2 packets there, gone. Again you are hungry, you will not be satisfied, because Pringle or itself says you cannot just have one, and you have to have finish up the whole bottle and all. And then what, you're not having one, just making garbage into your system. So one for that, travelers, and then school going children, where mothers came to us that hamara bacha tiffin box le aata hai and he doesn't like the breads and all and jam that we give. So we gave them option of these cookies, and we gave them option of oat cookie, which is with coca and cacao, and with the chana cookie, which is plant-based, high in protein and with a lot of fiber to it. So they are very happy, and they just stack up our bottles so that khatam na ho jaye, kal ko jana hai. And my kid, there have been testimonials where people have called me that 9 o'clock at night, they're coming to pick up the bottle because morning mein uske tiffin ke liye khatam ho gayi hai, and the mother was so busy and she even could not call you during the day. So that way, I'm really happy and lucky that kids like it. And if the kids are liking it, then I think that's the great affirmation to the product, that it is tasty.
So for adults, if you can avoid snacking, it's good, right?
Adults, no. If you have access to fresh food,
like
then you
fruits.
should not be snacking.
Okay.
If I am 12 hours at home, I may not be wanting to snack because I have fresh snacks available. And then the nut and seeds, that is why we make some kind of nut and seeds, because sometimes when we say nuts and seeds are very, very important,
right,
you are not able to even collect those many variants and variation of nuts and seeds. So we make it everything in one bottle. So in that you have pumpkin, you have everything, you have a seed mix, and which has nuts also, which has berries also, everything. You just have a 30 grams of whatever we give you. You are complete with your nut and seed requirement for a day. Otherwise, you keep on collecting. You 4 badam utha liye, 4 kaju utha liye, 4 walnuts utha liye, then pumpkin seeds utha liye. So we give you a ready-made mix, which is easy for you to munch on nuts and seeds. And it is basically, I would say for myself, it is a very good to-go snack. When you don't have, when you are coming to offices and all, somewhere you want to keep it on your table, so that if there are guests for coffee, or there is a meeting, you are serving something, not serving any kind of biscuits which are from the market and which is with a lot of maida and everything. You are serving some protein biscuits which are hand done and which are so fresh. So those kind of stacking must be there in each office room, if you can bring it, and in your children boxes, and while in your cars when you are traveling.
Right. And just to give audience the sort of a high level view of the market in which we put the snacking market.
Yes.
The overall packaged F&B market in
Mhm.
India is about 4 lakh crores, in which we have regular snacking, which is your savory snacks like bhujia, then you have sugar confectionery, chocolates, dry fruits, biscuits.
Mhm.
Then you have occasional treats, which is this is the season for that, right?
Right, right.
Mithai and
Mm.
Western sweets.
Mm.
And then you have convenience meal or meal replacement, which is snack bars, breakfast cereal, noodle, pasta, soup. And then you have non-alcoholic beverages, which is your hydration-based drink, nutrition, so-called nutrition drinks,
Right.
and energy drinks.
Mm.
And if you look at it overall, India's GDP is around 300,000 crores. And so roughly, I would say between 1 to 2% of India's GDP is the packaged F&B industry.
Yeah.
And it's omnipresent. Like you go any place, it's there, right? I walk out of office, there's a bus stand right there. There's a shop which sells you cigarettes plus chips plus
Yes.
other things.
Yes.
And you go home on the way.
Every step.
It's present.
Mm.
In office, you have the vending machine.
Mm.
So I think this industry, I think, has really this convenience, right?
Mm.
That also plays a role,
It does.
right? And this lack of mindfulness, I think, it's not helping at least the consumers, right? Because the availability and that loop also
Abundance is there.
Right?
Mm.
And I would say a very small part of that is where you are operating. Over of this whole pie, I would
Yes.
say roughly 5 to 10%, not even 10%. I would say 4 to 6% is where the health packaged F&B, as we can call it,
Right now. Mm.
is where we are.
Mm.
And in this we have snack bars, savory snacks, chocolates, cakes, pastry, biscuits, traditional sweets, juices,
Yes.
breakfast cereals,
Yes.
and granola,
Right.
right? So these are some of the things which are there.
Right.
And and when we look at, maybe we have looked at about 50 to 60 companies now which are operating in this space. And I wanted your reaction to some of the words which they claim or the attributes which they showcase to the consumer, to the end buyer, right?
Okay.
So, for example, baked snack. What
Mhm.
does it mean to us? I mean, how should a consumer interpret that?
So baked snack, a layman will interpret that it has no oil at all. It is just because baking just requires no oil. So it's a no oil food or a no oil snack.
Right.
It is simply puffed up or something. That is what it is.
But it's
No
healthy.
oil. It is healthy. Baking is healthy.
Okay.
Baking is healthy. No oil snacks are healthy. Yes, they are healthy.
Vegan and gluten free. These are two different things, but
Yeah.
vegan snacks and gluten free snacks.
Yeah, vegan again. Vegan snacks and gluten-free snacks are one segment which is picking up a lot because gluten-free. I start with gluten-free first. Gluten-free is mostly allergies which are from gluten.
Right.
And now that millet industry has come up a lot, and there have been a lot of talk about the millets and international
Right,
year
right.
of millet, which was 2 years back. So millet snacks are really good, and they are low on GI, and why not? They are healthy. But as a whole food diet, we say you have a little bit of your gut has to have a variety of food in that. So don't stop wheat unless it is like unless you are really a celiac issue, and celiac are really 0.1% in the whole world. It's not so common, and it is if you have any kind of options, have wheat also, and have lot of other. You have quinoa, have a little millets, and have a little ragi into it, and they are all forms of millet, and millets also come in a lot of variety.
Right.
So yes, gluten free is there where we are right now. Everyone should not be just go into a gluten free thing unless you have a little serious allergy. Have wheat also some bit, and have other include your gut should be having a lot of bacteria from all sources.
Yeah.
That is one. And vegan, yes, a vegan is, I gave you an example where most of the products which claim to be vegan, they are over processed. So again, I come back to whole foods. Could be vegan with a very little of cold pressed sesame or cold pressed mustard oil. But the product that you are eating, you have to see the ingredients which are at the back. It should not be chemical laden. It should not be. It should be a simple ingredient with just a product with just two to three ingredients. Yeah. Don't go in as a fad to vegan, that this is vegan, where you see a lot of oils in your food. Oils are vegan, they are plant based, but you have to see, be very careful about what you are having, what is going into your body. There yoga comes into action, where you should be mindful of what is there in your plate. Even if people say it is vegan, just check, is it over processed or not.
Yeah, I didn't even know about gluten-free food till I was like 30, I think, because in India we don't discuss this. And we went for a meeting to Rome, and I had an American colleague, and he was carrying this paper chit which had it written in Italian.
Achha.
That please give me gluten-free food, right, in Italian. And then we went to another country, so he had prepared few chits in different languages, whichever country, so he could, give the server. So that was my introduction to gluten-free food, because in India we don't really know. Right?
No, not at all. While growing up, pata nahi tha, roti khate the.
Right. So that's how I learned about
it. So it's about how the wheats have been processed now, and how the atta is taken out from the grain. So that method of bringing that atta, that flour, the wheat flour home is a little issue. Because earlier, when the wheat used to come, used to wash it properly, sukate the chhat pe, uske baad mein piste the. So that process was different. Now it's all factory, you just get the atta. So a lot of allergies are happening because of the wheat.
Yeah. And then there's one brand which claims the positioning they are taking is called kid friendly.
Kid friendly?
Yeah. So what does that mean? I don't know.
I even don't know. Kid friendly has to be, very tasty and a chocolatey product, I feel. But it can be all with the over processed food. Chips are kid friendly. Give a kid any Uncle Chips packet, he'll be really happy and thrilled. You should not be giving dough. Yeah. But I think if you give him a chana sattu biscuit, he'll be happier, and the mother also will be happier that the kid is eating दो का चना सत्तू खा लिए, रोटी नहीं खाई, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कम से कम 4 चिप्स के पैकेट नहीं खोले उसने.
I was recently talking to one of my friends, and now since I am approaching 40, most of them have kids, and they are in school, probably in first grade or second grade. And he told me something interesting. So they don't give their kids any chocolates at home, but in the school they are going to, the teachers gave chocolate to the kid in the school. So, and he was surprised when he found out, because the kids were happy to go to school, and
because of this.
Yes. And then I think a couple of them confronted the administration that we are not giving our kids chocolates at home, then how come you are giving them chocolates in your school? So that I found that interesting, that somehow as a society we have not yet understood.
No.
Right? What are we supposed to feed our kids?
Absolutely. And this is a very interesting example of the school I had gone to. One school, I will not name that school. It's a really big school, and on top of the line schools in India, one of the top schools in India. I had gone there and talked about the obesity levels and the rising blood pressure and the autoimmune diseases and the diabetes in children.
Yes.
In children, if the kid is in 8th class, 7th class, they are highly obese. They have some kind of autoimmune depression or any kind of ailment, and they have. And I was introduced by a student of that school only, who healed himself of a very, very high diabetic. He was diabetic. He was in class 12, and he just passed out from the class 12, and he came in connection. His mother and me are like very close friends, so she came to know and she connected, and that kid he healed himself from a diabetic H1 level of 12 to 8.
How
Just
old was he? Or she?
12th class.
12th class.
12, he just passed his exams, and it was his holidays and all. So she connected with me कि इसको insulin लगने वाली है, and
Wow.
he highly इसका weight big. How she found was that उसका weight गिरता जा रहा था. He was dropping on weight, like even not doing any kind of physical activity, he was just losing weight. So that is how we started, and so he took me to the school principal and the director that why not we have a talk. And so I was talking about, because nowadays schools are feeding children as breakfast and lunches, they are from schools, they are getting from schools, and everything is included in nutrition fee, so it was where I came to know very surprisingly from the school administration that they cannot stop feeding children milk. They cannot stop feeding what they are feeding, because there will be a lot of objections. There may be a lot of objections from parents that they would need their kids to have milk, and वो आप बंद नहीं कर सकते, and they're happily giving chow means and all, because it is a convenience food to put in the tiffins of kids. Maggi noodles लेके आते हैं, patties school में खाते हैं. You see, school canteens are like that only.
Samosas, cool drinks.
Yeah, so there has to be a lot of awareness in school also, in school canteens also, and I think the admins and even the PTA meetings and all. And I've offered myself, if there is a PTA meeting and you want to have any kind of a lecture on food, I'll be happy to at least make them aware and educate as to what to do, because children are the future of our country.
Yes.
And if they are so unwell, where will the countries lead to?
Yeah, I was maybe a couple of months ago, I was listening to Dr. Sareen's podcast. He did around fatty liver and all those topics. One of the things he mentioned, and I have not verified it, but I'm trusting him, is that 80% of school-going kids, which is 18 and below, have high waist to hip ratio than what is expected. 80%.
80%.
And second,
all thanks to COVID.
Yes, and then the second fact was about if parents are obese, there are roughly 90% chances that kids are going to inherit that obesity.
Yes.
Right. So if you are thinking of having kids, I think first you should get in shape, get healthy, because you are going to give your kids whatever you have, which could be obesity, other illnesses, etc. And the earlier fact that 80% of school-going kids have higher waist to hip ratio than what is expected of them, I think that's more alarming to me.
It is.
Right. And I think all of this goes back to packaged F&B and what they're consuming, and fast food and
highly processed foods.
Yeah. And then obviously they're learning from their parents' choices, right? So
they are. So we say that people blame the whole process of health on the genes.
Yes.
And we say that the genes just load the gun.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle pulls the trigger. So even if the gun is loaded and kept safe, and nothing will happen to you. Even if I have seen parents and the history of family history of cancer, and if one person changes the lifestyle, he or she is just saved from cancer, though the genes are there. So the gun is loaded. But if my lifestyle is just the same, because how we learn is, once a kid is weaned off his mom's milk, and the table habits start. The table habits is the same as what the parents are eating, they are feeding. We are eating together in the dining table. So whatever the parents are eating, if their parents are eating meat, if their parents are eating a lot of dairy, kids are eating the same. So that is how we say, if my mother is diabetic, I have to be diabetic because मैंने तो same ही खाना खाया है. And if there have been, studies where there are two twins, And so one twin is fed the whole food diet, and
Right.
the other one is fed the meat, what the parents are eating. The person who is even if their genes, everything, they are identical twins, that person heals.
Yeah.
This person is just the same as the parents.
Yeah.
So that is also very important. So lifestyle really comes to play a very, very crucial role in any kind of ailments that we are facing today.
How do you explain vacuum cooked snacks?
Vacuum cooked snacks?
Is there such a thing? Because one of the brand mentioned it. So I don't know what it means. Ethical sourcing.
Yeah, ethical sourcing is when you are buying from the farmers directly, and the farmers, you know those farmers. I think that is really better if you know the farmers and they are not, and that the product that you are getting, the ingredients that you are getting are organic. That we say it's an ethically sourced.
Okay. So you have to know
product.
the whole supply chain and you have to.
Yes, it is better.
Okay.
It is always better that you know, because it is not a very big world, it's a small world, and when you are so
Right.
passionate to make something, why not be introduced to the person who's making it. He feels so happy that he's involved in such big company.
And another claim I think which is now becoming very popular is that no preservatives and additives.
Yes.
And a lot of snacking brands now have that on their package. But wanted to get your views on how do you interpret that, and how should a consumer like me interpret this? When I see this, should I still read all the ingredients and whatever is there on the packaging, or should I just take it on face value? Because I think it's in the gray area from the regulation side also, right?
So preservatives and additives are one term that makes the processed food industry what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is thriving on preservatives and is thriving on additives, because once you are trying to make any kind of over processed or any kind of machine supply product that loses its own fresh aroma, like a potato chip loses its fresh aroma going through so much of machines and it is coming out. So you add some kind of additives to make it tasty.
Yeah.
You add something to preserve, to expand the shelf life. So whatever things go into expanding the shelf life and making the product tasty through artificial sources, those are really harmful for your health. So have the product as minimally processed as it is, as whole as it is, and without any kind of preservatives. If you are, making it tasty with some kind of fresh spices, more than welcome, because the spices are all antioxidants and they are really good for the body.
When you say minimally processed, should there be step count, like how many steps, or how do you define that? Because again, that's
yeah. So minimally processed, one process which is baking is a minimally processed product, and the more it is hand done product, it is minimally processed. The more it is a machine product, it is a highly processed product.
And there is also something which we have discussed in the past is about clean labeling. Right? So how should a consumer understand that when a brand says, "Oh, we are clean labeling brand"?
So clean labeling is the product is one very clean. It is just a mixture of 2 to 3 products, 2 to 3 ingredients. That is called like really clean. It has not it is not filled with a lot of additives. It is not filled with so much of preservatives. It is clean, like it is a 2 product thing. Fourth is maybe the jaggery or a date or maybe a spice.
Yeah.
Just 3 or 4 ingredients make it a very clean label.
Another term which has been around for about, I think, 10-15 years now is 100% organic, which has been used and misused.
Yes.
So, and it's in snacking as well as, we buy dal, chawal, it says 100% organic.
Right.
So I don't know how to interpret. And people are willing to pay premium for this kind of label.
Yes. So in the organic and not organic, in the terms of things which are healthy, I would say if there are top 10 things to reverse your ailments and to be in a great lifestyle bracket, The organic and inorganic comes eighth and ninth point. The first thing is it's not the top of the thing to just go and if you don't get any organic fruits and vegetables, you are not having that day.
Yeah.
You should have it, clean it yourself 3 times and have the fruit. Having is always more important. अगर nuts भिगो के नहीं रखा है तो मैंने नहीं खाया, no. Have it as it is. Just wash it and have it. Having each day that kind of specific minimum quantity of variety is more important for your gut than just not having कि आज नहीं मिला तो आज नहीं खाया. It is not that important according to me. Especially when I would like to add a little bit on the organic front, where you eat the product with the fruit or the vegetable as it is. Like if you eat apple with the skin,
Yeah.
it is better you have organic.
Yeah.
If you are having, let's say, pineapple. So pineapple has a very thick skin.
Yes.
Then you cut the skin and then
Yes.
you get that. So it is okay if you don't get a pineapple as an organic. You get it from any other sources, eat it. But wherever you are having grapes, it's better you have organic. If not, triple wash it and have it.
Yeah.
It's not such a big thing to just go on the organic and the inorganic.
Okay.
Right? It is better you get, in case you're not getting, get whatever you are eating. But eating is more important. The fresh and the whole foods are more important.
Yeah. And then last probably 10 years, we've also seen focus on millet-based product.
Yeah.
And in this budget speech, I think it's called Shri Anna. Right? Shri Anna is what they're calling your bajra and all this. This is traditional crops which have been there around in India.
Yeah.
So let's say if I'm eating gehu or atta, and if I now am eating millet-based snacks or millet-based whatever, khichdi, or now there's khichdi also, other things.
Yes.
Can I eat it in larger quantity and still be healthy, or is it I still need to watch out, or is it doesn't matter?
So larger quantity, I would say your plate should be full of 60%. Your plate, your dinner plate or your lunch plate should be filled up with more of raw and semi-cooked.
Okay.
A part of it cooked, yes. Khichdi forms a part of it. More should be your raw salads with your green leaves and all. And when I say semi-cooked, like a potato can be boiled and baked, and sweet potato can be boiled and baked. So starts and greens and everything, nuts and seeds, everything, and then a khichdi on one corner looks good. That plate looks good. And not just fill up the plate with khichdi and not having anything else. No.
So I think a little while ago you mentioned about GI, right?
Yeah.
So millets and
they are low.
Gehu have different
Gehu
GI.
is high. Gehu is high in GI.
So what is GI and why should we get?
Glycemic index it is. And we always keep on talking that you more talk about glycemic load and the index.
Okay.
And so some part of it is there, which is glycemic load is better as you talk about the products, and white rice and wheat are very, very high. But then having said that, you say even if you're having white rice, don't be so bothered about that, because your plate is again filled with a lot of greens, vegetables, a lot of leaves, and you're having it with either dal or which is counterbalancing the whole part. So your plate is always a balanced plate. Even if it is a high GI or anything, you're not even eating, every time. You're not eating about 10 to 20 chapatis with no salads and no. So plate has to be really healthy. And when I say 60% has to be raw and semi-cooked, it has to be like that. If it is like that, whatever GI load and whatever GI index it is immaterial. You will heal your body.
So foods which have high GI index are not good for us.
Yeah, only having those are not good in a sense that they will increase your sugar levels.
Spike it.
They will spike
suddenly.
it. Yeah, spike it. Yes. But if you're normal, if you are not diabetic at all, and you are having a balanced whole food diet, you should not be even bothered about everything.
When we talk about Bliss by Anju, how would you like consumers to know about it or remember this brand when they are referring it to someone else or when they are buying for their own families?
So I would like to one very important fact is that the food should be fiber rich.
Okay.
So my Bliss by Anju is all fiber rich.
Mhm.
Fiber is, for long has been really ignored nutrition, and it is not a nutrition, but it's a ignored
Yeah.
product that has been always inbuilt in the whole foods and has always been ignored a lot. There has been a lot of fad about proteins though, and because somewhere when we talk about plant food, you don't get that much of protein as
Yeah.
a standard protein. When I say standard, the standard is given by the animal food industry.
Hmm.
That standard is the standard that we say, and then plant food cannot just keep on matching that kind of standard. But your body should not need a protein for a male more than 50 grams or 56 grams, and for a female 40 to 46 grams. Your body should not be exceeding that protein value in a day's diet. Fiber again, and if your body is having about 30 grams of fiber in a day, your health is perfect.
Right.
Your and people are, there is another big supplement industry which comes up as a fiber rich medicine that they have is some goals, and they have people are so constipated.
Yes.
One because of the sort of stress level, and the other because of so much of processed foods and so much of oils which are just refined and empty calories.
Yes.
They're animal food or dairy food, no fiber, zero
Yeah.
fiber at all.
Yeah.
So I would like to harp on my product as it is a fiber rich product, which is the essential ingredient, and I will not really harp on more of the protein factors, because you do not need a certain amount of protein. Over protein bodies are leading to cancer. Over protein bodies are again leading to a lot of ailments, because the lifestyle is such. If you are having big gymming and all, certain kind of protein, certain percentage is okay. But for a layman, for a normal person who's just walking and just exercising 1 hour a day, for him about 40 to 60%, 50% of protein is just good enough in a day.
So that comes out to like 1 gram per kg, or how should we benchmark?
So it is about 8 to 10% of your caloric value in a
Okay.
day.
In a day. Okay. Got it. And I think you have different products, right? You have granola, you have laddus, and then you are also trying cakes and pastries. And
Yeah,
then
so
you
that
have
we give
biscuits.
demos.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
give
And then
demos.
you have biscuits.
Yeah.
I think these will be the major ones, right?
Yeah, so cookies are the major ones. Our top sellers are chana sattu, which again we say when we talk about protein, it's a plant protein, and it is a fiber rich cookie. And then there's another oats cookie, which is just oats, which is also again sort of a lot of fiber into the cookie. And granolas, yes, more of, so only granola which I am happy selling is nowhere else I could find a granola which is rich in nutrients, which is good amount of seeds and good amount of nuts into it, and berries into it. I used to always find like more of oats, more of grains everywhere in the granola. So if you pick up any bottle of Bliss by Anju, any store, if you just see the amount of nuts and seeds that we use, there are ample amount of nuts and seeds that you do not require any other helping of nuts and seeds later on. If you are putting it over, so how to use the granola is one more thing. If you
Yes.
don't have time to eat with milk and kaise khaye ya kare, so you can put it over your salads. I put it over my green salads because leaves are a must have, which we say you should be having leaves, because of you leaves only will heal your body. So you put it over give a crunch on the leaf salad, give a crunch on the fruit salads, and any kind of sweet dishes that you are making. You put some granolas over that. Put a granola bottle in your car. You just munch it with just as is. And our granolas are the only granolas which are with no oil at all.
Okay. Well, what is granola made of?
So granolas are nuts and seeds mostly, and we should say that in a normal diet, about 20% of your diet should be nuts and seeds in a day.
Okay.
So granolas are mostly nuts and seeds, where it's a to-go, it's a comfort food for people who are not sitting in one place and having their breakfast and having their meals or
Right.
in between snacking. It's a very good snack as an in between snack because again you are not munching on over processed. And when I say lightly processed, the granolas are just right amount of processing involved. It is just baked. It has no oil. And the fun part is that the oil comes out of those nuts and seeds and gets roasted in those only. You do not need to put a lot of palm oil or any kind of coconut oil to mix it. You do not require it all. And whatever is the healthiest solution for people, I think we should as a human being and as a person who wants to heal the planet, we should make an attempt to just educate consumer and make a product which gives them longevity and which slows down their aging process.
You mentioned palm oil. Now, palm oil is omnipresent, right, in packaged F&B.
Yes.
And I think we import it from countries like Malaysia, and we are dependent on mostly on imports for palm oil. Why does packaged food F&B depend on palm oil for cooking?
So one very important factor is it is the cheapest oil available. Number two is that it has no kind of odor to it, no smell to it, no aroma to it. So it neutralizes any kind of mixing wherever it is mixed. You will not even come to know about that oil because if I use a coconut oil, somewhere that smell of coconut is there. If you use
Right.
mustard oil, you will come to know in a matri it's made with it is a little that touch of mustard is always
Yeah.
there in that. So so you come to know each oil has a flavor to it. Sesame has a flavor to it. You will come to know about that oil, that thing is present in that. But palm oil is very, very neutral. You will not even come to know about that palm oil. It's very, very unhealthy. Anything which has palm oil slows down the aging process. Does not slow down the aging process. I mean, it just makes you age very, very
Accelerates.
fast. It accelerates, yes.
Okay. And what else? How does it interact with your digestive system, etc.?
See, oils as it is are not very healthy. If you have any kind of ailment, if your body is ailing, if there is an inflammation in the body, immediately you should be stopping all the oils. You should be stopping all the animal products and dairy products. And if you do that, in 3 weeks' time, you will find your body healing. So it is really dangerous. Why I say to stop oil? Because oils are empty calories. Whatever process the oil is coming out from, refined or wood pressed or cold pressed or virgin or extra virgin or whatever, you have a lot of. So these are all processes where the oils are taken out.
Right.
But oil is an oil. How you derive an oil is you separate the fiber, and the fiber separates. If it is a peanut oil, even if it's a cold pressed peanut oil, or if it is a olive oil, so olive fiber is separated from the oil, and the oil is filled and the fiber is thrown. Rather have olives as it is with the fiber. That is the best part. And the oils stick to your veins and arteries. They are not very gut healthy. They don't even reach your gut. So they just keep on sticking and makes your the arteries and veins very, very thick. That later on shows up as a part of diabetes, and then with it comes the blood pressure, because the fat gets deposited on the cell membrane, and that is how it becomes insulin resistant. The body is insulin resistant. That is the thing where insulin stops acting and your sugars go into your blood. Right.
And I think that will be a good transition to talk about different kind of diets, because earlier you mentioned about in your last phase, which is the latest phase of your wellness journey. That's when you switched to plant-based whole grain diet, and that's when you could get off the medicines, right? So I see, and even I have tried in my life different hacks, dieting. Let's give up this or let's follow this. Do you think dieting works?
Dieting does not work. One, dieting, when I say does not work, I mean for a longer period of time. It cannot be sustained for a longer period. For short periods, yes, people there is a ketogenic diet. There is a keto diet which is like a which catching on fast, and it has been there for I think now more than 6 to 7 years, more than
Right.
that. So keto diets, people are more of the youngsters and people who are gymmers and all. They are sort of attracted towards this kind of diet because this is more of a diet which is no carb, which is protein rich, which is fat rich, and I would again tell everyone that if you are going for a keto diet, go for a short. It's good for a short time period. You cannot prolong it. If you are prolonging it, you are inviting your body ailments to your body.
Right.
You are inviting a lot of, because it is an imbalance. It's a high protein. You should be eating everything whole. Again, I come back to it as a product as it is. If you are playing with the nutrients, if you are playing with the nature, like if you are playing, like you're saying, you're only taking a whey protein out of a product, which is like really wrong. You're not taking the other nutrients, and the body somewhere is imbalanced. When your body is imbalanced in the nutrients, there is a lot of inflammation happening in the body, and which is really, really very, very painful, not now, but in a longer run. For short periods, if you have some kind of a target to be achieved in 2 months, 3 months time, yes, going for keto diet, you will, but then come back to the normal diet.
And so what is keto?
Keto is high protein and high animal products and high food rich in fat and food rich in proteins.
And what is your view on meat eating?
And keto diet is again, it is started by the animal industry and the food processing industries, and where you have, because animals have no fiber, they don't have any carbs. So eat animal products, they don't have carbs.
Yeah. And what is your view on meat eating? Should we eat?
The same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
meat protein, the protein which is from animal fats, the animal food is very, very harmful. It is it has IGF-1, when I say insulin growth factor 1, which is very harmful, which leads to cancer. Because again, the protein from animal products is see, the animal grows multifold. In a baby comes to a full form in few months time.
Yes.
It grows as an adult as a full. Like I have a pet in my house, and she became like a full length in 6 months time.
Yes.
And for us, in 6 months, our kid is a kid. I mean, we grow in a smaller process. There is a small. It's a shorter process, and we don't grow as a full male in 6 months time. So what grows in the body? The cells grow. The cancer cells start growing in the body, which is the reason there is such a big epidemic of cancers called prostate cancer, breast cancer, and there's so many types of cancers which are lifestyle related cancers.
Yeah, and so many hospitals, right, lately have been building this specialty cancer cells, right? Yeah. In Delhi, for example, I went to.
They're facilitating.
Or they are addressing the symptom.
Absolutely. For that matter, dialysis centers.
Yes.
It's a fancy now, dialysis, IVF centers.
Yes.
Dialysis centers. It's a fancy. People don't really tell that IVF don't need if your diet is right.
Yeah. And I think so much of it starts with your digestive system.
Right? Absolutely. Everything. It's a whole world. It's a whole, I say it's that if you go in a forest and you feel so nice, peace of mind and everything, you have so many birds, you have so much color. The same thing is inside.
And I was recently speaking to another founder who is building in the digestive space. He's not from the wellness side. He's more from the product side.
Okay.
He's bringing some Ayurveda kind of product to sort out digestive issues. And I asked him, what is your typical persona, right? So the typical persona for his products is like a shopkeeper. He wakes up, he doesn't eat any breakfast. He leaves for shop. On the shop, he eats snacks, the guys who come and sell the snacks. And then he has lunch. He comes home late, and he probably eats dinner at 11 p.m. and then goes to bed. and the same day the life cycle starts.
Mm.
First, they have constipation,
Mm.
and then constipation leads to more complex things like piles and other things. And that's how the user persona is,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So eating outside, not eating at regular intervals, and then not sleeping properly, basically just eating and going to sleep. So that's how he described his persona. And there are so many founders who are trying to build around this digestive issues, right? There are so many startups which do this gut bacteria testing and give you this report, and then they plug in their product, and I don't know if it is effective or not, but suddenly I think in last 2 years maybe there are about 7 to 10 startups which have received funding in this space, especially around gut. So I think digestive system is something people should really uh, care for and watch out if they have any issues with their digestion, because that's the starting point, I think, for a lot of things.
It is a starting point. Again, it goes back to the lifestyle.
Yes.
This is a very bad lifestyle example that you gave.
Yeah.
And that is a very common lifestyle.
Yes, yes.
Which is for everyone. And so just 3-4 things if you do. One is exercise. And I would say 1 hour to 1.5 hours of 1 hour of like intensive exercise, and then a good sleep. Go as your circadian rhythm says, and then the other part is eating plant-based whole food. If you are having these 3 things, you have made yourself a great success. And if you feel that if you look or feel better than what you were last year or 10 years back, you are on a healthy path. You are doing good for yourself. So you compare yourself. I tell everyone, you see your photograph of 10 years back. If you have become better, if you have become more beautiful, if you have become more active, and if you have become more healthy, then you are on a growth path of a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
You are slowing down your age. People ask me, because I keep on talking about slow aging. What slow aging is? Slow aging is this only, that I am reversing slowly what I was looking 10 years back or maybe 20 years back. I look better today. My energy levels are better today. So that aging process has slowed down.
Right.
If you see 10 years back and you say हम वहाँ तब तो बहुत अच्छे थे, अब हमारा ये हो गया, then that you are going down in your age.
Right. But see, the interesting trend is also we don't have preventive mindset in India. So nobody pays for anything in the wellness sector unless it's like life or death kind of situation.
Yeah, either it has hit their family,
yes,
or them.
And the second thing is,
I think same for us also.
Right.
मुझे नहीं होता या आपको नहीं होता तो फिर ये इतना रिसर्च शुरू नहीं होता है. So ये होता ही है.
Right.
कहीं ना कहीं दुखती रग होती है.
And the second thing is in services and products both, people have willingness to pay for vanity use case. For example, skin, hair, makeup, these products fly off the shelf.
जो दिखता है.
Right. So vanity, I call it vanity use case, right? Just fixing the outside of the body. While if there is something which is in the wellness space, the service, or it is a wellness program or a wellness product, it's very difficult, in India to sort of get people to buy it, even though it may have long-term benefits like you're talking, right? So there is healthcare, there is well-being, and then there is wellness. Right. So healthcare is your traditional hospitals. Well-being is that you still have a problem and solution mindset. Right. You are trying to fix that maybe through Ayurveda, going to Vaidya or some other doctor, Ayurveda doctor, still trying to fix it. While wellness is more what you're talking about, sustainable. Just doing it for the sake of doing it. You're not trying to fix anything. Right. So whether it's physical activity or mindful snacking or watching what is on your plate, that's more of a wellness mindset, I think. So I think wellness, not everybody can be on the wellness journey, but certainly people should get off the healthcare journey, right? Which is taking a pill, fixing something, and then doing it again, right? So especially with young people, right? I observe now there are party smart pills, right? Which you take before drinking so that there is no hangover. Right?
Yes.
And I find it amusing. It's like if you're gonna have hangover, then drink less.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not sustainable.
It is not. Yes.
And later I found out that alcohol doesn't even go to your intestine. It gets absorbed from the stomach.
Bilkul.
Right?
Bilkul right.
And that's why it hits you, right? Within 5-10 minutes.
Faster.
It's there in your system. And you enjoy that high. Right? So I think these hacks which people have discovered on the basis of healthcare and health technology, I find them amazing. That they're very, very different way of thinking. That this instant gratification, take a pill, fix it, and then get into the same zone again.
Yeah, so there is I would relate this to some kind of specific age group.
Yeah.
Which is catering this kind of where the pharmaceutical industry is catering to that kind of a specific age group, which is party hard, work harder, party even harder. And so for them, even if you go sell, if I sell my own products, they are not the buyers.
Yeah.
And so the only thing is that when we talk about the overall wellness space, we say if you want to party. Next day, be mindful. Maybe fast next day. Don't eat next day. So that somewhere you are able to balance. So because you are, a human being is a social animal. You can't really aloof yourself from your society. Though I would say that is why we keep on trying to expand the wellness community and the society, because you have to start living in that kind of a circle. But till the point, if you are not a leader, and if you are a follower, then you may not be able to influence a lot of other friends and followers to come to your lifestyle. So you adopt their lifestyle and be a little mindful. Even if I'm going out for a late night party or any kind of card parties now, it's Diwali time coming season. Up. Have the food in your house, or your home done food, whatever greens you want to eat, you eat, so that your stomach is full for a longer time. You're going there, enjoy. So what you go for is you enjoy, even if people are after you, and then when they see Anju coming, they are all focused on what her plate is and what her drink is. So be mindful, pick a glass and pour your whiskey or whatever, and fill it up with a lot of ice into it. Fill it up with a lot of water. Don't shake it, don't stir it.
Okay.
So it is lying low, it is heavy, it will not come up so fast. So I'm just telling it. So they would now come with a stirrer. Then you stir your drinks. So that is how how to deal with some kind of social evenings. You just be with the glass, enjoy the company, enjoy the food, whatever. Be mindful. There will be a buffet there. Enjoy the food you want. What you want to pick, you pick. Eat slow, but being with everyone is more important than just avoid ke maine nahi jana hai or maine nahi khana hai. Be there, life is fun. Otherwise, it is a very difficult place to live on yourself and on your own. It's better to be with your friends and family and everyone around, but be mindful always as to what is happening to you.
So much of this, what you just mentioned, comes down to mindfulness, right? Yes. And when it comes to food, it's very difficult to practice, because when you are really hungry, right, and when you don't have snacks by Bliss by Anju, and you have your phone, you have Zomato, Swiggy, and other platforms you can order. Right. Now they're delivering in 10 minutes, right? So how do you practice in that moment when you are really craving for something, and maybe it's late in the night, or maybe it's even in the morning, you know you should eat healthy, but maybe you don't have maid or you can't cook or could be multiple reasons. So how to be mindful in that moment?
Yeah, so lifestyle changes are very, very simple. They are not really very expensive and not really very, I mean, you don't have to really struggle for these kind of changes. It's so simple that, I always tell people, keep your beans cooked, boiled, stacked up in the fridge. Keep your chanas stacked up in the fridge, all boiled. Keep your potatoes, keep your sweet potatoes all boiled in your fridge. Anytime you have any craving or any kind you are hungry, just take out, cut some, your onions and all, make a chaat out of it, make green chutney handy, make those lemons handy. Quickly you make a chart and all, and then this much amount also if you eat, you filled up. Why don't the first part when you even pledge to be changing your lifestyle is to throw away all the packets of whatever namkeen you have. It should not be sitting in your house. It should not be sitting in your kitchen shelves or in your bedroom shelves or even in your bags. It should not be there because that is the first point where you would like to take.
Yes.
If that is not there and you are stacking up these kind of vegetables in your fridge, it is so simple. It is so simple. You don't have to do anything. And a potato just boiled is my favorite. Just have as boiled with the skin as it is. It is so tasty. You don't have to even put any kind of
no salt, nothing.
It is so tasty. Just have a sweet potato like that. You don't even need to put any kind of chaat masala on it. It is so tasty. Now that slowly your taste changes. Slowly your choices also change. I don't have a craving of any over processed or any kind of any other kind of food and all. I really love and I am very selective and I really love what my plate looks like.
So does that mean you're going to launch RTC health products soon?
Health products, yes, we are in the process maybe by next year.
Okay. Yes. And you also taught me in previous conversation, because we meet often to discuss about your business, about the concept of hidden salt.
Yeah.
Right. So you taught me about salt in ice cream, for example.
Yeah.
And you taught me that adding salt is not possible because you can't eat or taste beyond, or you won't be able to eat.
No.
Right. No. While in packaged food and beverage, there is so much salt available in sweet things which we are eating. So talk about that.
Yes. So salt is there. Sodium levels are high in all the packaged products. Because salt somewhere also acts as a preservative. Even if you see in our old times and our homemade achars and all, the amount of salt that goes into the achar, because somewhere I used to hear from my grandparents, from my dadi, that you have to put salt because it is a good preservative. You have to put a lot of oil, it is a good preservative. It stays on for a longer time. So that was a simple technique to make products, make achars and all, to stay on for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Now the same thing, same philosophy is happening with the factories. The more oil, even if it is hidden, the more salt it is hidden, and the product stays on for years and years and years. You will not even come to know because it is a sweet product or maybe it is a mithai, but it will have a component of sodium to balance that sweet element into that. So salt is always hidden, and that is the most harmful salt for any person. If you add it on top of it, if you sprinkle it, it is not that. Table salts are not bad.
Yeah.
And salts also you have to, for me, I feel what kind of salts is another question. Eat salt, even an iodine salt for some, I keep on mixing my salts, even the pink salt and the Himalayan salt and the normal Tata salt. I eat everything. But, because all kinds of bacteria should be going into your body.
So your products don't have any salt, right?
We do our salt, which is a pink salt, Himalayan salt we use.
How is it different from the regular salt, the white salt which we have on the table?
White salt has like a lot of iodine into it. So iodine salt I use only in my cooking when I cook my food, because that is cooked. Iodine in some quantities are important for the body. And
Yeah, Himalayan salt just reminded me. We just had Vijay Dashmi, right? And then 9 days of fasting. I observe people eat more during fasting around me. Not my friends, and I observe them. Now you have Vrat Thali.
It is feasting.
It's feasting basically, but it's supposed to be very different, right?
Different food.
Different food. So it becomes kind of a celebration. So I think people have commercialized it to an extent, and Navratra, and it's very different now. Comparison to when we were kids, we will have, let's say, boiled potatoes, dahi, some rock salt or pink salt,
Senda namak.
And not a lot, nothing was fried, at least in my childhood.
Nothing was available in the market as snack.
Yeah.
It was not available. I think the Chulai laddu I remember, and that पेठा I remember.
Yes.
वो पेठा ही था, मीठे में पेठा ही होता था, एक वो खाना है वो तो उसी टाइम मिलता था. इवन चुलाई का वो जो लड्डू मिलते हैं अमरंथ के, that laddu, that was the only thing. We never had any kind of those sabudana namkeens nowadays and the chips nowadays, and I mean even the cookies nowadays are vrat wale cookies. Can you imagine? I mean, you keep on what vrat it is. I mean, it's I mean, vrat is like fasting. You give your stomach and you give your digestion some kind of a lock that it is not working. The factory is closed, but your factory is always working, and it's working more. And there was this joke, and there was this reel on Instagram that there was this lady who wanted to reduce weight, and she started to fast these 9 days. And on day 1, her weight was up by 5 kgs.
Wow.
She had so much. She went to doctor, and the doctor said, okay, stop everything and start this whey protein powders and all that supplement and go to gym. And when she started supplements and all, the weight again increased by 2 kgs. And she said she has like nowhere to go and what to do. It was a big thing that, when you fast, you gain weight. I mean, it should be just the opposite.
Yeah. And I till I was about 18, I would say, because I was not in Delhi, I was in a very small place. I had never eaten out, like because there's no concept of going on dinners.
Yeah.
And my parents are teetotalers. They don't drink tea or anything. So I only had seasonal vegetables, whatever, dal, rice.
Yeah.
And so never got to sort of explore too much of packaging. Yeah. Till I was like 18.
होता नहीं था पहले. I think पहले इतना नहीं होता था. Even if I remember my own time, we used to have cookies sometimes where we used to have those small bakeries, and we used to give them our own atta.
Yeah.
Used to give them our own ghee and everything, and they used to make our atta ka cookie. वो एक बड़ा famous cookie होता है. So वो cookie बन के वो tin भर के वो शाम को हमें दे देते थे. That would be our tin for as a cookie. वही खाना है. But I was never ever a very cookie or a snack person, and I never still date I don't relish any kind of snacking as much. Because
still you are in business of snacking.
I am in a business because I want to tell people that you should stop all these unhealthy snacking. And I started with it that in case you are having a good diet, and if you are in your vicinity of where your fresh food can be available, number 1 choice is that. Number 2 choice, yes, it's Bliss by Anju should never be your number 1 choice. It should always be a food which is convenience, healthy, tasty food, and which is available for the whole family, where your small kid also is having it guilt-free, and even your grandparents and your elderly in the family or an ailing person in the family also are having safety. That is my intention, that it covers the whole segment of your family.
Right.
In case you are making any choices of snacking available. That is what it is.
Yeah. Another hotly debated topic in food science, as we can call it food science, is protein, right? And not only for gym goers, even housewives, young folks who are not going to the gym, office going folks, your parents, everybody talks about, okay, you should take protein, either through dairy or eggs or meat. I find it probably very new concept, fairly new in India. Probably 15 years ago, we didn't hear that much. I would say till about 2005, I didn't think, I don't think there was so much awareness about protein in Indian market, right? And then I slowly, when I went to college, and then I used to come back to India and observe, all my friends were going to college here, going to the gym, taking on supplements, and then it really became a thing, right? Over the last 15 years or so. So, how do you think about protein? Since you're in the food space,
Right.
How should people build a harmonious relationship with protein intake?
Yeah, so protein, I think the talk about protein as a nutrient only started, I think, with more of gymming population and people into exercising hard, athletes. Protein, as a protein, I was not very aware, but yes, I was aware that you have to take eggs and you have to have milk. So, milk as in calcium, protein as in eggs, because we never had any kind of animal product.
Right.
But that was like, ये खाना है, एक अंडा दिन का खाना है और ये खाना है. And later on, when the awareness went, we said कि अच्छा इसमें प्रोटीन होता है इसलिए खाना है.
Yeah.
दूध में कैल्शियम होता है इसलिए पीना है.
Yeah.
So anything excess, a body needs protein, yes. But anything in excess, I would say I would relate it to oxygen. Oxygen is essential.
Yes.
Okay. And but 100% oxygen will blast your lungs. Even a ventilator in hospitals are fixed in about 50 to 60 level of oxygen. And our air, I think it has about 21% what we are breathing. So the amount of protein as oxygen. So too little oxygen is bad for the body, you will die. Too much, you will die.
Yeah.
Same way is for protein. Too much protein, cancer, and especially animal protein, very harmful. And too little protein, again, it is bad for the body, because the body, you need protein for the development of the body.
Yeah.
So a right amount, which I said is, when I talked about it, 56 grams for male. And so these are all researches. I mean, I'm not coming out with a figure like that. There have been researches,
Yeah.
and they have been talked about the amount of protein which should be there in a human body. For women, it's 46%. That is what the amount of protein is for a day. As you are born, when we talk about so this is a research which says that when a kid is born, when a small baby is born, they are only fed mother's milk.
Yes.
So mother's milk, and from infant to 6 months time, the development of the human body is the fastest.
Yes.
That kind of faster growth rate is available in a mother's milk is 5 to 6%.
Right.
So that 5 to 6% is the minimum which a body should be having, which is naturally given by a human body to another human body to grow that much. You don't need a growth faster than that ever. But still, according to the American guidelines and the recommended allowances and all, it is 8 to 10%. So there has been a study also, which is a China study with Dr. Colin T. Campbell. There is a study which he has done, and the study, the basis forms by in 1963, a study was done by National Institute of Nutrition in Hyderabad, and where they said that too much of protein is leading to cancer.
Yes.
Too much of animal protein is leading to cancer. So how much a protein should be, and how? So that further was studied by Dr. Colin Campbell. What is the amount of protein, like 5% when you feeding, there was a research on the mice, when 5% was fed and a 20% was fed to another section, the 20%, all 100% died of cancer. That 5%, they were just as it is healthy. But Dr. Colin Campbell, again, he did a study where he found how much is the apt level where the cancer tumor is not growing. So he started increasing the from 5 to 6% to 6%, 7%, 8%, and to 8% was the limit. After 8%, there was a tumor growth. And there is a very big detailed study in the China study. The book is available everywhere, that you can turn on and turn off according to the protein fed in the human body. If you are feeding your protein to 12 to 13%, the tumor turns on.
Yeah.
Decrease, same human body, decrease the level of protein, it will go down. So that is how important the relation of protein and the cancer is, and for the humans.
And how are plant-based proteins different from animal-based protein? Is there a difference, or?
So plant-based protein, yes. Animal-based proteins have no fiber into it. And plant-based proteins are rich in fiber. So anything, even any sweet or any protein that you are having which is laden with fiber, so it makes a gel kind of a thing, and it trickles down very slowly. Plant protein, there is no harm at all, even if it is in excess like soy and all. So it is okay, but then too much of protein, again we say it has to be too much of fiber diet than too much of protein diet for a very, very healthy body.
Yeah, and it's also said that traditional Indian diet is not protein rich.
Traditional Indian, so the protein is naturally available in nuts and seeds. It's naturally available in whatever grains you are having, in your beans, in your legumes. That much is okay for the human body.
Okay.
That is okay. So that's what I will come back to, that standard protein. When you say standard, your standards are laid down by the animal industry. So that standard, your plant protein cannot just match. And you don't need to.
Yeah.
You eat whatever is available, what the nature gives you. That is enough. Even that is shown by the type of teeth that we have.
Yes.
We don't have the carnivorous teeth of animals like that. So our teeth are more for munching. So munching is always on fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. And you also do healthy juices, right?
Yes, so that's a segment which is there for last 2 years now. We do green juice when we talk about the importance of leaves in the body. And again, we say that you should be having more of salads, leaves as available as is. So when you have salads, the soluble fiber and the insoluble fiber both are going into your body slowly, because munching leaves takes a lot of time. So packaged juices are a real big no-no, because howsoever you have to just wash the ingredients what they are. Most of them are done by they're not fresh. They are worked on with some kind of concentrates, because they do not, any kind of fresh juice will not have that much a longer shelf life of 7 days or 3 weeks or whatever. It can never have, because you see a fresh fruit just rots in a day's time.
Yeah.
So how can that package be there for a longer time?
Yeah. And how about carbonated drinks like cool drinks and all this?
They're really sugary drinks and should not be taken at all. Yeah. Water is the best beverage that is there. Have water as
coffee?
Much. Coffees, yes, black coffees are coming up as you want to slow down your aging. Have black coffee, but not coffee mixed with milk or sugars.
And tea?
Black coffees are good. Teas are good. Chamomile tea are good. Herb tea, spice teas are really good. Herb teas are very good. So whatever you can have in your own eating window, where we say about 8 hours is a very good window to eat. In that, if you get time and you want to enjoy your tea and all, have it everything without the dairy and sugars.
Should people change their food and snacking habits as they age? Let's say people move from 30s to 40s or 40s to 50s. should they
Changing
change
as-
their
changing as
snacking? Snacking, maybe you used to snack on certain things in your 30s. You should not do that in your 40s, or it's normal.
I don't think there's a big no to anything. It's
Mhm.
just that however your body can adjust to a variety of it, have a variety, and snacks are snacks, and I think should only be munching on grains and only be munching on nuts and seeds as snacks, nothing else.
And what kind of nuts? When you say nuts, what specific nuts?
All nuts, all nuts.
nuts.
Yeah, a variety of nuts are very very important. Though we say Brazil nut should be have, it's very rich in selenium. It should be have once in a week. But all nuts, a variety of nuts, and you say a fistful of nuts are enough. 1.5 ounce to 2 ounce is a good amount of nuts that you can have, like from 40 grams to 50-60 grams.
Okay.
Nuts and seeds as a total.
What recommendation do you have for young people? Because probably people in their 20s have a very different view of life. I think after 30 or crossing 35, your view changes. You have family responsibilities. You become more risk averse. You start thinking. You start planning. And I think by the time you're 30, 35, you always have like one health thing which has happened in your life.
Nowadays, yes, it's
Yes.
catching up.
Yeah.
So for kids in their 20s, reduce the screen time. And stop your blue screens an hour and a half before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Very important for a good sound sleep, because I have even heard, and I've also felt that the kids don't sleep that well. And that is a major part of anxiety and depression and any kind of unsuccessful kind of a feeling in them because of the sleep deprivation. Sleeping gives the mind a lot of rest, and for resting mind you have to be off screen for about 1.5 to 2 hours before your bedtime, and do a little meditation, do a lot of physical activity. Do not keep on sitting for longer hours, and keep walking, keep standing, and whatever way you can, just give lots of movement to your body, and eat healthy. When I say eat healthy, even if you are having a little bit of any kind of haywire diet, but you are following these other lifestyle issues, you are in a good shape.
And what vision do you have for Bliss by Anju? Because I think when I speak to you, every time I discuss, something about your vision or your brand, I always feel that it's going to be bigger than snacking only. Maybe it's in your mind, but that's the intuition which I have, because given your interest areas and the way you approach some of these topics, I think, and then we have also discussed offline experience centers and things like that. So what is your vision? Maybe did you plan over last 6 years that this different phases I'm going to build, or this is where I am now and this is where I'm going?
Everything has been a journey, and I'm really enjoying. I don't know what the final destination will be. It is like I feel I am like a branch of a tree, where it's just growing right now. So whatever branches are, sub branches are also coming out and bearing fruits. I'm happy whether it is an education, or it is a cooking demo, or if it is an experience center, or if it is fresh food, or it is snacking. People are enjoying as I am enjoying my journey, and I'm so happy with the growth and the comments and the testimonials that makes me do more, and I think that grows as a more so maybe it can be a banyan tree when it goes and grows on its own roots and it becomes a tree itself.
Yeah. And then 70% of your orders are repeat orders, right? 70,
They are
80%.
most of it.
And these consumers, these buyers have stayed with you for
so much long time, because you will be surprised that though we have been there for almost 6 years, my social media only started 6 months back, and all these 5 years we have sustained with word of mouth and repeat orders and things like that. I mean, we've done big weddings also in a smaller way. And so I'm happy people are liking it, and people somewhere in their hearts and hearts, they know that this is the way to go. But maybe the time will tell. I mean, I always say you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah.
At least you can show him the water.
And is it difficult when you are experienced and then you are doing a startup? Because you mentioned you were an economist and then doing multiple things, and later you kind of transitioned into the wellness space. Right?
Yes.
So is it difficult?
So being a lady, one, and starting after 50 is a challenge which I gave to myself, because somewhere my age group people, my friends are all retiring, and and I am so bubbling with activities every day that there's something exciting happening in my life, and I really feel that I'm just in my 20s. I don't even feel my age, because everything new is happening. It's so much enjoyable. I think when you are passionate for something and when you enjoy your own journey,
Right.
you don't even feel, don't get tired. One very important factor is again my diet. When you are having a whole food diet, you will not feel any kind of lethargy. You will not feel tired at all, fatigued at all, at all. I mean, you don't even feel like, just going off for a nap or something. Because when somebody, for example, came to my experience center and he said, Anju, you come here in the morning and you go so late. Have you made any kind of bed for yourself or a sofa for yourself to relax or to lie down? I said, no, I don't feel like lying down anywhere. He said, कि आप कहीं नहीं, होना तो चाहिए, एक बेड तो होना चाहिए जहाँ आप आराम कर सको. मैंने कहा, I don't need that, and I don't feel like having resting after midnight, mid-meal or lunch and all. No, I don't need that like that, and I'm so happy. I'm the way I am, and the way and I think some bit of it, when people see me doing everything,
Yeah.
and they really get attached to the way what I say and when you walk the talk, people know how serious you are. I
Yes.
think that is what crux is.
That's true. And you are an omni-channel brand now. So how do people find you? Through your website?
Yes, website, Insta handles are very, very handy. That we keep on promoting, and that's my latest one. Then through Insta handle, you can go to website and you can order any kind of nuts and seeds or any kind of snacks and to munch on.
And you're also available now in offline stores, right?
We are available on almost 15 stores in a very short period of time. I'm so happy that we were spotted by big stores, and it never happened that I followed up with them and things like that. And I think somewhere I'm so thankful to God, and I'm really humbled by the way it is happening.
Yeah. And as a female founder, how much support did you find from your own family? I know your husband is totally supportive.
Yes.
But the whole ecosystem, how did they react when you mentioned that I'm going to start this venture?
So my both in-laws side and my family, we've been government servants. My parents and my in-laws, they have been in government jobs and all. And one part of a joke which I say that I never wanted to marry a businessman, and I always wanted, because I've always thought we are more sorted. My parents are more sorted, and they are in jobs. And they are more sorted than my masis and my mamas who had shops and who had factories and all, no time and all. So I was always wanting, okay, mereko to, I don't want any business person.
Yeah.
I want to marry you. So Sanjeev was in HCL that time.
Yes.
And I was really very happy to marry him. And I mean, he was really from the very beginning very, very independent and always being very, very supportive of what I was doing. But not knowing that in 6 months' time he will stop and he will resign from the job and he'll start his own business.
Oh,
and
6 months after the marriage.
6 months, yes. After 6 months only this happened. This shock of life came to me that job chhod raha hu main, and he found some of it. And that time in 1991, people had not even heard about any kind of startup.
Yes.
कोई startup होते ही नहीं थे. And then he said we are a group of ITMs and all, we are forming a company, and I've resigned from the HCL. And
So he told you after he resigned.
No, that we were
Discussion
knowing,
you
we were knowing that he is resigning, but just that the only thing was that he was off station with HCL. He was not in Delhi, and me and in-laws, my small baby we were here. I couldn't go there. So that part of thing was, the travel time and all from Bombay to here was a little bothersome. So he left, and so that is what happened. And he's been always a self-made person, and
Yes,
whatever
yes.
he has made committed. So whatever idea I had, somewhere, it was just in me. It just came out. Though I've been always, having desk jobs and all research jobs in the
Yes.
Chamber of Commerce, and never anything to relate to health. Never anything to relate to health. So it just started off as my own experience. I never saw any kind of GDP or any kind of market trends when I started
Yes,
this
yes.
business. Never. I even didn't know where the product will go and
Yeah.
what I'm doing. I never saw any kind of market researches, and never, I mean, now we are having. But when I jumped into it, it was just my passion that I want to do it. So he said, okay, to kar lo, and he liked the idea because everyone is happy with my snacks at home. Even my in-laws and everyone, they are happy, they, whatever I get, they get to eat, and they are so happy that, it's, that keep doing. And you are enjoying whatever you are, making, and it's something new. And and any product, if you pick up from my side, it is not available in the market. It's a unique product.
And you think that's how founders should approach starting up? Don't do research.
Yeah.
Just find an idea which you're passionate about.
Yes.
Start building.
Yes.
And then
later have Kulmani come in.
make micro changes while you're on the way.
Yes.
So this is also one of my learnings because throughout, in a single day, probably I interact with 4 to 5 founders on average, right? Some of them we are working with, some of them are part of the larger ecosystem. They reach out to us for different things. I think people who have bias for action are more likely to succeed as founders versus people who are more strategy planning. Obviously, you need that at some level.
Yeah.
But when you are going 0 to 1, which is you're at 0 and you need to start walking first, right? I think this bias for execution is very, very important. Right? You need to be more action oriented. Sometimes when I meet founders, they will give me excuses like, last week I had a conversation with a startup which is in the sports field. They are building a network of training centers for cricket. There are a lot of centers in tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns. Yeah. And the founder told me that I need a director of training to start this startup.
Okay.
So that is very counter to the idea of venture, because the idea of venture is that you need to start working first. You need to show me a POC.
Start yourself.
Start yourself first. And I mean,
always.
If you are talking about director of training, then you are talking about a salaried person who is going to charge you 1 or 2 lakhs per month, and that's not venture.
That's not your passion.
That's not your passion.
That is not his passion. His passion is to get salary out of you.
Yeah.
So it will not be. Yeah.
So you agree with that?
Absolutely,
you should start.
Absolutely. If you are passionate, even if to bring to the market a dairy-free rasgulla, I think go ahead and do it. If the product is new and if your passion is into I being a yoga person, I feel a lot about energies. And why I keep on talking about hand, because your hand gives you the energy into the product. With each kitchen, even with same ingredients, each kitchen will, take out a different kind of cooked meal from the kitchen. It will taste different, even if with the same spices, because your energy which goes into, your thought that goes into the product, your thought that goes into your staff, and from the staff into the product is so different. It's so different now that you are talking about, passion. The same passion, which is my passion, if you grow big, I cannot do everything with my hand alone. You need a full team. So that team has to be like a family. That team has to be told the passion of you're starting the product, and that your passion has to be their passion. It has to be their passion, and I'm so happy that whatever team I have grown from zero to whatever number I have right now, everyone is so passionate that their illnesses from their families, because they're all from different levels of incomes and all, and there is some kind of healing happening in their self and in their families again. So it is somewhere reflecting. I'm so happy, wherever I may go. I'm not really bothered about that. But whatever step by step, little steps, I say it is like small wins every day. If a staff member of mine is healing her mother with half the knowledge, simply listening to what I talk in the demos or listening to my talk on the phones, if she is able to be little well and happy with the life, I think I have somewhere achieved some purpose in my life. What is the I never ever had any kind of purpose to make so much of money. Money was never a purpose of it. Otherwise, I could be any kind of a mithai shop. What I'm doing,
Yes.
any kind of mithai shop, any kind of profession. If you are passionate, you can put in any kind of product, and you can be cheaper products can go well in the market, and that never had any kind of satisfaction in me that I want to earn money. It was always that I want to heal somebody. I want to give knowledge to somebody through my product. So the product, when we were talking about what kind of an intelligent product came out of it, that a product which makes you think. So that was the real passion in me, that I to give that first, and where it takes me is all. If the intention is good, I think everything happens well at the end.
Yeah, and the passion you're talking about, which is replicated through your team members, that is also part of process, right? Because people think of processes as very formal, that you go from point A to point B or point C in terms of making products, but there is also informal part of the process, which is your culture, which cannot be replicated by your competitors. So it's both formal and informal. So
it's
I
very
think
important
and it trickles down.
It's very, very important. You don't treat your staff or your employees like a like an employee that you just have to tell them you have to make this and then go home like that. No, you have to even tell them why you are doing this. And coming and bringing them into limelight, like when we make reels out of them, and each demo they are standing with me and doing it, and talking to the customers, and they are from from small kitchens, from some base kitchens.
Yes.
And some people and everything different that we are teaching here, and they feel so happy. Any kind of acceptance, any kind of limelight for any kind of person will make them some kind of happiness and some kind of commitment to the company. Yeah.
And I think in the past you've also mentioned in our conversation that Bliss by Anju products are all handmade.
Yeah.
Right? And to the extent it's possible, you would like to keep it that way.
I would like to keep it that way.
And why is that important to you?
Again, I will go back to the level of energy that it is, and the product, as simple as it is. Machine products have zero taste and zero energies. I feel a hand product, that is what the testimonials I get, because there is everywhere the market is flooded with the same product, same tasting product, even if it is from packet 1 to packet B, tastes the same. But when it goes to a grandmother's taste, it goes to a taste which trickles down and which makes you think that you have had it in your childhood somewhere, you feel so happy.
Yeah.
You feel so happy that this kind of product is available in the market, and I the response which I get from the market, that people are so thrilled and they say, okay, we want more of your products available everywhere. and they give me an idea that why not people give this as a Diwali gift to
Yes.
me,
Yeah.
to rather than giving your standard products, give this gift which is which will go in for a longer time, and you will feel so happy getting this a hamper of your products.
Yeah, and I think gifting mithai on Diwali is probably not a good idea.
Not at all.
Because it's not.
Diabetic capital don't increase.
Yeah, we are already at 300 million plus, right?
Yeah.
So it's going up. How do people buy your product? Through your website, through Instagram, and
Yes.
now
On website and on WhatsApp channels also. We have a good amount of people coming back and ordering from our WhatsApp channels also.
Yeah. Any?
We are there in Sundar Market
Yes.
every Sunday, and we'll be happy. I stand there morning hours, and I will be so happy to meet anyone who hears about it. And we are in Ukra Phase 1, and any point of time you can come and talk to me, and I'm very passionate about it, and I would love to talk.
And lastly, about this new awareness which is building on the consumer side with label Padega India and all these food farmer and all these
Very important
influencers, right? What is your reaction to it?
Very important. It should have been there, for a. In fact, it is starting now, and I think it's the need of the hour.
Yes.
Even the children and the food farmer is doing really well. And I just communicated with him for a very short time, and I now dropped in quite a few mails. I don't know through this. If he hears it, I'll be so happy to meet him. And just all for whatever he does, just all for whatever the Sattvic people are doing. And making awareness, what Sharan is doing, making aware about what to eat, what not to eat. So there are these organizations who are working day and night to inform people and to make them aware about what wrong they are doing. And of course, you should be very aware about all the ingredients that are written in the product, and as much simple as it could be. If you are able to understand what is going into it, the product is good. If there is a foreign terminology to a product, don't buy that product.
And how can we increase awareness among consumers? Maybe in your early years when you are in school, how do we?
There should be more talks in school, organized by. So these organizations are already doing. So there are these NGOs are already doing about trying to spread a word about. Sattvic is doing very good work. Subha is doing very good work. Sharan, Dr. Nandita, being a doctor herself, she's doing a lot of good work. And that is, I think, she's a really good example of how doctors have turned into lifestyle medications, and how doctors are trying to change the way doctors think that only the medicines will heal the body. No, and she's one very good example that who has healed herself and who is now into this profession of medicine for lifestyle ailments.
I think there should be more discussions at family level.
Yes.
I think it should be part of the syllabus. Maybe, I don't know.
That's what I think he is doing. He's making it a health some.
Yeah. I think I think CBSE and ICSE should really include it. Nutrition.
Yes.
And physical activity as part of the formal network.
Yes.
So, any parting thoughts?
Parting thoughts are be really well, and we have to live for a longer time. And when I say live for a longer time, live well, and live. If you have in the last 5 years, you have lived without any kind of medication, you have lived a healthy life for yourself.
Yeah.
So enjoy it. It is not a punishment. It is really a very, very tasty food out there, and a great lifestyle. And try to change the way your friends think and bring them to us, and we'll be happy to talk to them.
Yeah. And to all the listeners, I have been to her experience center multiple times. I've tasted her products. So if you're watching, if you're listening, you should order through our website, through Instagram.
Yes.
And you should give them on Diwali. I think that's the best choice.
Yes.
And thank you, Anju, for sharing your journey.